What's up, Rob?
Wow, I'm speechless. I got questions.
You got questions?
Yeah. That's an interesting little intro you got there, Shouty.
Oh, you like that?
I mean, it's interesting. I've never seen it before. You're very creative.
You saw it last time, Robert. It's on the
I
first
did.
time. Yeah.
First time. But anyway, what's going on, sis?
So yesterday something happened, and when it happened, I called you and I was like, boy, I got
a story to tell.
I got some tea, boy. And I was like, we got to discuss this tomorrow, homie. Yeah. So y'all, I know you guys, unless you guys are living under a rock, I know you guys know, and we want to get your take on this too. I know you guys know what's going down with your boy Kirk Franklin and his cursing out his grown ass son. I don't know, Rob. You talk about it a little bit.
No, I mean you need to set it off because you said you wanted to talk about it.
Yeah,
so let's put it in and really chop it up. I think that for me, I am living under a rock because had you not called me, I probably wouldn't have known anything about it. But I'm a big Kirk Franklin fan. Yeah, I love Kirk Franklin. GP, that's my favorite little dude in the whole wide world.
Yeah,
that's my dude.
Yeah, so I know you guys heard if you're not living under a rock, I know you guys heard the tape of Kirk Franklin cursing out his grown ass son. And Rob, I've known, I follow Kirk Franklin really closely, and so I knew that he was estranged from his son. If you look on his Instagram or whatever, the oldest son is never in any pictures. And when I saw that, I started doing a little research, went back a little bit, and what I remember, and I haven't read anything up on it lately, is I think that there was some type of I think his son maybe suffered from some type of mental illness, or maybe he's bipolar or something, but I know he's estranged from his family. So he doesn't really come around much. He's not involved. He has Kirk Franklin has one child on his own. His wife has a child on her own, and then they have two more children together. And Kirk Franklin adopted Carrington, his other daughter. And they were one big happy family. It looked like, but as when you raise kids, things don't always turn out the way you think. And my kids, I think my kids are the bomb.com, but I don't know what them jokers gonna do after they get good and grown and on their own. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, the real deal with that, Constance, is that something happens when teenagers turn about 14 or 15 or 16 or so. They get a blast email for guys. They think they look at their dad and they go, I think I could take that joke there, right? And for young,
your son do that to you?
That's another story we'll talk about another day. But and it seems like with the young ladies, they kind of look at their mamas like, I'm sick of this chick right here. I'm that. You know what? So it's really interesting to think about what happens in the mind of a teenager. Now, our parents were part of the baby boomer generation, right?
Right.
And we came from the parental upbringing of I wish you would. So
would as the entertainer said, we live off the wish. Yeah, the wish method.
Right.
Our parents with the wish method.
Right. I mean, we were birthed with the wish method, so we didn't have the courage to say, in a lot of instances, to say or do some of the things that kids of Generation Z and millennials and what's that one? Y. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's strange.
I remember Angie Stone. I know she had gotten into some controversy a few years ago because I think she hit her daughter in the head with a pipe because her daughter jumped bad with her with a whole pipe.
A whole pipe?
A whole pipe. She said, I brought her into this world. I'll take her out. Disrespect me if you want to.
Now, see, I will say that, but I ain't hitting none of my children with a pipe. A whole pipe.
Yeah.
Nah, I ain't gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. Yeah. So when you called me about the recording, I had to listen to it, and I listened to that recording no less than maybe 6 times. So for those of you who are just joining us, if you haven't, make sure you get up on game. Go to Instagram and or either YouTube and Google the word, or just put in the search bar Kirk Franklin or Kirk Franklin recording or Kirk Franklin's son, and just take about 2 minutes to listen to this recording. And the Kirk Franklin that y'all see on Sunday Best turned into somebody else when he was having this conversation with his son.
I think we should let him hear it. What you think?
Huh?
I think we should let him hear it.
Yeah, let him hear it. You got it. Let's roll it.
I got it. Hold up. Let's do it.
A piece of paper. Okay. You can bring this up and like this. When your bitch ass start to get your any motherfucking ass back out the goddamn way. I dare you. I dare you. I dare you. I dare you. Shut the fuck up. I'm old. I did it.
So, just run it one more time. Let it run it. Let it keep running and mute one thing so that it won't echo. Play it again.
Okay, you want me to play the whole thing again?
Yeah. But mute, you probably got to mute something because it's echoing when you play it.
Okay. I'll mute myself. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna do it again. Right.
And action. We couldn't hear it. When you muted yourself, you muted the recording. Take yourself off mute. Run it back.
A piece of paper. Okay, if you think I'm bringing this paper, let me say it like this. When your bitch ass starts to get your any motherfucking ass back out the goddamn way before I put my foot in your ass. Because I dare you. I dare you. I dare you. I dare you. Shut the fuck up. I'm old. What's up? I did it. He just hung up the phone. I'll break your neck. Is that a threat?
Listen, let me be clear with you on one thing. That was a whole lot of passion that Kirk Franklin was speaking with. And I just want to address something real quick that Marsha X Moore said on the line. She said, worry about your own lives and your own children. First of all, Marsha, if you don't like what you're saying, you can turn to a whole nother channel altogether. This is Conversation Starters Live, and we like to have conversations. Either you can be in or you can be out. The choice is yours. However, we're talking about the very incomparable Kirk Franklin and a conversation that got played out loud and the world knows about it. Now, typically, I wouldn't comment on something like this, but since his son played it for the world to hear, I do have some things that I need to share. And I just want to hear what you think about what you just heard.
Yeah, what do y'all think? Listen, the way Kirk cussed his ass out, it sounded like he had been practicing for a very long time. That joy just came way too natural to that brother. Kirk little ass be walking around that house, cursing motherfuckers out. I mean, mofos out. You know what I mean? Like Kirk is cursing.
See, so here's the thing, I know what typically happens. Like a lot of people put dispersions on church folk and say, you shouldn't talk like that. The Bible says you should be slow to wrath and quick to listen. But sometimes fathers need to talk to their son in a language. In the church, people speaking in tongues, that's like a spiritual language. Well, sometimes you need to speak in tongues to your son because they just don't get it. They don't get it. And so sometimes and sit down and try it another way. That doesn't work. So as a dad, you need to match the level of stupidity that they bring to you in your face.
Yeah. Well, listen, I know church people who and you can't even put, it is what it is. That little boy, he disrespected his dad, obviously, and obviously he didn't play it from when he was being really, really disrespectful. So he obviously said some things that he shouldn't have said. And one of the things that Kirk Franklin said was that he didn't put the part where I had just called the therapist on the line. He didn't tell you the part that he said, what he tried to show, and he tried to embarrass me. So what it did really was show that his son was a bitch ass, because how you gonna put your parent on blast, right? He basically proved his daddy right.
So hold on, you gonna call the man's son a bitch ass? I mean, come on.
Call him a bitch ass. I call him a bitch ass. I'm just saying. He called him a bitch ass.
Here's an off limit. So here's the funny thing. When I first heard it, I thought this was like his teenage son.
That boy is 32 years old.
Hold on. Because teenagers have a tendency to try their dad or try their mama, and they step out of pocket. But when I read a little further and found out that he a whole grown ass man, 33 at that, he's the same age as Jesus was when he went to go see his father.
Ooh.
Yes, ma'am.
Really? Wow. But no, really. I mean, I think a lot of times people will put so much on church people, on people who are Christians, and Christians are humans too. I remember one time my pastor said, sometimes you don't even have to be a cursor. Sometimes what's on the inside of you might come on the outside of you. He said one time I was driving down the street, me and a bunch of pastors, we were driving, and I don't curse at all, but somebody had hit me and some curse words came out my mouth, and I don't even curse. But that thing was deep down on the inside of my sha-na-na, you know what I mean? And it just happened to come out. And, but you cannot put so much on these church folks. I do believe that to whom much is given, much is required. But I also think that this man is absolutely human. And his son brought some things out of him. And that was just simple. Like, you are, just like Joy said, you a whole grown ass man. Yeah. And got dealt with like a grown ass man. And that's simple as that. Simple as that.
I totally agree with you, but I'd like to hear anybody who has a differing opinion, like Marsha X, who said we should mind our own damn business and tend to our own damn children, because here's what I learned. I used to get out of pocket because, as you know, Constance Carter, everybody thinks that I'm a swell guy. They have no idea that from time to time I can get a little angry, get a little hot under the collar, and say some things that are totally inappropriate. But that's not who I am, right? That's not how I normally carry myself. And typically the reason why I react the way that I can react is because typically I'll overlook a lot of stuff. I try to avoid conflict, and I try to stay out of areas that I know might not be good. But your kids, you bring them into this world, you feed them, you clothe them, you shelter them, you house them, you help them. And then you get to a point where how dare they have the audacity to say anything out of pocket or to do anything to disrespect you or make you look bad as a parent. Right. And so I get it, and like you said earlier, this little boy apparently didn't play the whole tape, right? Mm-hmm. I think it's pretty dope that Kirk Franklin has a therapist on speed dial. Right. I probably need to go have a therapist for some of my family issues, but the son didn't play. People they won't play their part; they just play your dirt.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And I just believe that people are not the sum total of one incident or two incidents or a sum of their mistakes. So a lot of people in the age of the cancel culture, we will get canceled for one thing. You might do one thing. Look at our friend Chrisette Michelle. She's our homie now, right? And Chrisette's whole career got canceled because she, played at the Trump inauguration, and people are still 4 years later saying that they don't mess with her. And so in the age of the cancel culture, people are quick to do that. But what I haven't seen on my timeline at least is anybody saying anything against Kirk Franklin. Everybody saying his bitch ass son did need to be called a bitch ass because he obviously acts like a bitch ass, just like Puffy called bitch assness. He epitomizes the definition of bitch assness. If you're going to put your father out there like that, knowing who he is, trying to ruin him, and what it did, it made him look worse. It didn't make Kirk Franklin look bad. It made his son look bad. You know?
And what I'm proud of Kirk was that he acknowledged the situation for what it was. He didn't run from it, said no comment. He went straight to the people and shared his remorse. And he also, kind of said it was a tense situation. It's a private matter, AKA I ain't trying to ask no questions. This statement is all you need to know about what's going on internally. And that ninja over there, I'll handle him when I get around to it. However, I was nervous the first time I heard it, right? And because again, Christian folks, they embrace you and they will cancel you, but you never know the wind is gonna roll. You know what I mean? And I'm glad that some people are holding Kirk Franklin down because it was
because they curse too.
Oh yeah, all Christians. You hear me?
Man, they be cursing when they get on the park at the parking lot before they get out out the parking lot. And as soon as they get up in their car, let me tell you something. I was raised in the church. I was involved in the church, so I know how church folks are. You know, not everybody, of course, but I know that people are simply human. And a lot of times people will say, "Well, I don't want to go to church because there's so much hypocrisy." No, there's just so much humanity inside the church walls. And that's what you got to look at, is that people are just simply human, and they're having a human experience. And that's what this man was having. He had a human experience. And that's what it all boils down to. I love Kirk Franklin. I was at my dad's house when I first heard it. And my dad's a reverend. And he was like, I can't believe it. I said, I can. I remember when my dad was a good, strong Christian too. I was like 10 or something. And my sister punched me in the stomach. She was mad at me. So she just punched me in the stomach. And my dad said, "You better not do that no more. I'm gonna whoop your ass." And he was a Christian. He was like, oh. So I mean, listen, everybody had a moments.
See, ass is one of those good cuss words. Like it's normally, accepted. Ain't nobody gonna raise an eyebrow and say, if you don't sit your ass down, little boy or little girl, if you don't bring your ass, that ain't. It's when you use the other ones that people tend to.
Motherfucker, yo, po ass.
Yeah, when you go with the BA,
bitch ass,
somebody about ready to fight.
Lloyd Mitchell said, the problem I have with Kirk is that why is he even dealing with the grown man issues? He should have cut his son off years ago. When are the parents going to learn to leave their children alone when they're not doing what is right? And I think he has. I think the son is estranged from the family. I don't think. Did you hear him call? He said he called him a po ass. He said he was po. So obviously he ain't getting none of Kirk's money because he said with your po ass. So he ain't getting no money. He didn't cut him off. Look at David said. Kirk turned into Plies real quick. You know how they say Plies?
Sure
how did Kirk look like?
Yeah, Plies went online and said something as well, defending Kirk. But you know what, though, Lloyd, I appreciate your perspective, however flawed it may be. Parents have the right to deal with their kids on the level that they choose to deal with. We don't know what chapter we came in on that story. You understand what I mean? You don't know all the struggle that they've gone through. And like you said, Constable, apparently he's not still on the tip. And, it is what it is. He called him a broke ass, a po ass, yo skinny ass, like, yo skinny ass, broke ass, po ass. Like he was going in. Yeah, and I don't mean to make light of this serious situation. However, it is conversation worthy. And it is our job to bring light to this real situation.
Yeah, it flowed off of his tongue. Yeah. He was a seasoned cusser. Sharon Bamberg said, the way Kirk said it was very flavorful. He most definitely is cussing that man out. The son was wrong for putting it out. Kirk apologized. I feel good for him, but he is a seasoned cusser. Yeah, I mean, this is not his first rodeo. I can tell you that right now. But again, God does not judge us by that, because if God judges by some man-made curse words, then all of us will be doomed for hell.
Yeah, for sure.
Bitch ass is really bad. I mean, it's whatever we say it is. I mean, for him, bitch ass could be a term of endearment. You know what I mean? So it doesn't mean that he might not have been saying anything bad.
Let me stop to tell you real quick. Oh, time out. Are you saying that it's possible that on some portion of this universe and planet that bitch ass is a term of endearment?
For some people, bring your bitch ass here. Yeah. And it may have been a term of endearment for Kirk. And I mean, that's what it was. I'm just saying, it might not have been, he might not have meant it in a way that was negative. It might have been to uplift and motivate him. You know what I mean? So you got to just look at it in that way.
Father, just in the name of Jesus, please come into this woman's life and shine your light on her so that she may see the right path to walk on.
I am just saying, Robert Anthony. I'm just saying, but with everything that's going on, I think that this is the least of our worries. Kirk Franklin, obviously, he has been an involved father. And again, we can raise our children the best. I got 3 boys. I have 1 daughter. I am now single. I have 3 boys and 1 daughter, and I am doing the best that I can the best that I absolutely can as a mother. And whatever happens to them after they leave Kirk made stumble. After they leave the nest, it's on them. I don't know what they're going to do, but I know that I'm going to do the best that I can as a mother to give my kids.
Yeah, that's dope, Constance. I would tread lightly on calling your son a bitch ass as a term of endearment. Same thing for your precious queen, princess.
Never.
So there are words to use in specific situations, but when you use those two words in the same sentence with as much clarity and force that he used, as much venom as he had,
and seasoning,
no problem. Huh?
Yeah. I said, and seasoning.
Seasoning, yeah. When he told the boy he was gonna break his neck, if you ever
disrespect me, I brought you in this world, I'll take you out. The Bible says, spare the rod and spoil the child. Now, whatever you say to them while you hitting them with that rod is on you. That's between you, him, and the Lord. So, I mean, it is what it is.
I love it. But and in any case, have you ever had a male figure talk to any other kids that you know of? Because I know you can go in any Walmart across the United States, sit there for about a good 60 minutes. And I guarantee you that somebody Asian, somebody Puerto Rican, somebody white, and probably somebody black gonna be cussing out their child with that same level of venom in any Walmart across America.
I've seen it before. Absolutely. I'm fortunate not to have that, take place in my household, with the way I was raised with my father and the way we raise our kids. We would never do that. I could never see myself doing that at all. But, to each his own. That's him. That's a grown ass man. The man, 32, 33 years old. He could take it. He could take it on the chin. Obviously, he didn't cause some trouble. But, when you have your other kids that are touting you and saying that you're a great father and and they're loving on you, then, it also speaks volumes too. So I give it up for Mr. Franklin. I think that, he did the best that he can do, and things happen. He's not that this incident doesn't sum up who he is. And again, I have seen nobody, none of the comments that I've seen have said anything negative about Kirk Franklin. Only thing it shows that this man was human. That's it.
Yeah. And it should be that way, because when it's all said and done, you can't speak to the whole situation. Apparently there's more to the story. And, in this culture where reality TV has certainly become the norm, that's the preferred means of TV over substantive things like the Cosby Show back in the day. This was a crucial moment in our culture. And I'm so glad that we didn't take this as an opportunity to tear down, a cat that's been out there, making it happen for a long time. And I'm not looking to stand on a soapbox for Kirk, but, I'm a fan, and he's made some great music. I think that his ministry is powerful. He has the ear of a lot of people. He has influence in the kingdom as well as in the world.
Absolutely.
And again, like I said, I think he did the right thing in addressing it head on, apologizing. And now he don't need to be like some other folks within the church that make this a repeat offense. Like
I hope he doesn't. He was a big man by apologizing, and he didn't have to. He didn't have to say nothing, because he could have said, "You know what? This happened in my house, and it's my business." But he didn't. He apologized. Ariane, I like this question that Ariane said. She said, on a serious note, how about the people who grow up and are verbally abused in their home? What do you think about that, Rob?
Well, verbal abuse is one of those silent killers that tend to affect children in their adult lives, and they have one or two options. They tend to replicate that activity with their own children, or they become so removed and reclusive from society, because that's a painful place that needs to be healed, and it can't be healed until you have some real therapy, or you have an opportunity to address that parent and say, hey, listen, this was a pain point for me. You hurt me, you damaged me. So that needs to be released, revealed, and healed in order to get past that. But I do know of some abusive households, some people that I'm pretty cool with.
Yeah, I do too. And you know what? I think verbal abuse is just as bad as physical abuse, because you can really screw somebody mentally for the rest of their lives with that verbal abuse. It's not. If he grew up and Kirk said that stuff to him every day, then I could see why there will be contention in the household, because verbal abuse is not okay on any day. And one of the things that I tell my kids is, not about verbal abuse, but the thing about being a parent is we don't always get it right. We don't always make the best choices, and we don't always make the best decisions. But I tell them, whatever I do, whatever your dad does, look at it. Look at the things that you hate, things that you absolutely hate, and make sure you don't repeat them. That's it. Don't do it with your kids. So when you look at me and if I do something that you don't like, because listen, I'm striving to be a 10 out of 10 mom. Y'all said I wasn't a 10. Y'all said I was an 8 or a 9, but I'm striving to be a 10. So when you see things that you don't like about me, let me know, because I'm always trying to improve. Because my world revolves around you. But at the same time, the things that you don't like, make sure you don't practice them when you grow up. Practice different.
A friend of the show, Gary, said there ain't no grown Christian man tripping that another man got hot enough to cuss his own grown son out.
Not one. not a one.
I am with you on
that. They cussing too. That's because they cussing too.
Yeah.
Too.
There are a whole lot of other issues in this world that we need to address outside of a father and son having a private conversation that became public. And no judgment over here from me on any dad really that's expressing themselves in a way that Kirk did. Now the verbal abuse, that's a different matter, and it depends kind of answer on how you address that. And I don't want to speak to that because I know that, to your point, Constance, I would be interested to know what my kids rated me as a dad from 0 to 10. And I know I don't hit all the metrics every single time because I was out chasing the dream and trying to climb the corporate ladder of success. And when I wasn't doing that, I was out in the world kind of trying to be a, one of the boys. So there are things that I wish that I could do differently or wish I would have done differently. Nonetheless, I full well understand what Kirk did, and I get it.
Yeah, I can say the same thing, Rob. And hopefully I'm not. Am I stable? Am I stable? Am I good, Robert?
Yeah,
how's my Wi-Fi? We good? Okay. No, what I was saying. You can't see me?
Yeah, I can see you too.
Okay. To your point, though, in terms of being a parent, and let's talk about that really quick, because being a parent is like the biggest and best awesome responsibility ever. And just like you, I missed a lot of things. In chasing the dream, I missed first days of school. I missed my baby boy's first birthday, his first birthday, because I was out chasing the dream. And you can never get that time back. But what I did as a mom is I said, you know what? I want to make sure that that they know that the time that I do spend with them is quality, even if I don't have the quantity. I'm gonna give them if I only got 25% of the time, I'm gonna give them 100% of that 25%. And that's important as parents, is that we have to, we got to give everything. Everything. And when my daughter is grown now, but when she says certain things about, her childhood or things that went wrong, and I'm like, damn, I tried so hard to make your childhood perfect. And I'm sad that you had to experience some things. Of course, you're going to always experience hardships, but there's just things that I felt like I could have controlled to make her life better, to make all of their lives better, that I failed on. And we all fail as parents. But my heart is giving my kids the best life possible in whatever way I can. And, I just think that I would never, ever, ever curse out my kids. In fact, I just started cussing around my daughter since she's been grown, because I never cursed around my kids ever. But, I'm just, it is what it is. My daughter couldn't even, my daughter couldn't even listen.
You're cussing a lot, Constance. Good
gracious. Yeah. I never cursed around my kids. And I didn't even let my daughter listen to the radio until she was in 8th grade. She didn't even listen to the radio. So she was like Disney. And she resents me for that now. But I'm like, listen, I wanted you to stay a child as long as possible. And I was good with that. I'm good with you not knowing. She went to college and she was so naive and was like, didn't know nothing. And it's not a good thing. But for me, I'm like, listen, you learned, didn't you? Yeah. Right. And she had to learn the hard way. But, you're going to be grown for the rest of your life. But you're only going to be a child for time. That's how I feel about that.
So Constance, I appreciate that. I don't suggest you have your kid watching Disney till they were, we say 8th grade or 8 years old?
8th grade.
8th grade. So that's 13. Okay. Cool. So for anybody that's just stepping in the room real quick, just listen to what we're talking about, Constance, set them up real quick, let them know what's happening. And I would love if you could just give them a little voir dire of what we're talking about, because there's somebody who's still living under a rock who hadn't heard what happened.
Yes, your most favorite gospel singer, Kirk Franklin, who brought gospel music to the world in a way that nobody else has. He had an incident with his 32-year-old son or 33-year-old son, Carry On. Carry On recorded his dad so vibrantly and flavorfully cursing his what Kirk quote bitch ass out, called him Poe. Tell I will break your mother effing neck if you ever disrespect me again.
Ever.
It was definitely quite interesting and entertaining. It was a moment, but it was not a movement. It did not encompass his life. And I don't believe that his body of work is at all affected by anything that happened yesterday. He probably got more support, and people probably love him more because of the.
I agree.
Yeah.
We'll run that tape real quick. Let's peep it.
Oh, okay. Real quick. Let's run it real quick. We gonna run it? All right, let's run it.
Paper. Okay, if you think I'm ready for this paper, let me say it like this. When your bitch ass starts to get your any motherfucking ass back out the goddamn way before I put my foot in your ass. I dare you. I dare you. I dare you. I dare you. Shut the fuck up. I'm old.
I did it. He just hung up the phone. I'll break your neck. Is that a threat?
Yes, Carry On. That is a threat that he will break your mother effing neck.
I think it may have been a promise.
Yeah, I don't mean this metaphorically. I mean this literally.
Yeah.
That I will break your neck.
Let me tell you something. My daughter, I put my hands on my daughter one time. I choked her. I choked her out one time. And she said when I choked her, she tells the story all the time. It's funny now. It wasn't funny then, but when I choked her out, she said, I was ready to die. She said, when you choked me, I just kind of went with it. I was ready to go. But I tell you what she got choked for, she would never did it again. No, she did it. She did it one more time. It was money. Taking money she wasn't supposed to be taking. But yeah, I choked her behind. Yeah.
So Constance, I can't say that I've ever choked my children, but there are some disciplinary actions that I wish I could take back if I could. And I don't even want to discuss some of those things because they are pain points for my kids. So if they hear this broadcast, they probably would be all in their feelings about it. So I would certainly say that there's some things that Dad could have done differently. But let's close it out real quick, Constance. Give all the parents out there some words of wisdom. Talk to the babies too, because this is Conversation Starters, and we believe that for every situation,
there is a conversation.
Hashtag Conversation Starters Live. Why don't you drop a little knowledge on them, Constance?
Listen, again, I just want to go back to being a parent is the best job ever. My youngest son is 13 years old, and so I got at least 5 more years to have, some kids in my house, and I just treasure every moment. Robert, you're an empty nester at this point, yes? And so I know it happens so fast. It goes so fast. And just, your parenting doesn't stop. Your relationships do transition to when they become adults. When my daughter's my best friend. And when she graduated from high school, I was so afraid. And I thought, oh my God, my baby's leaving, because one of the things I wanted her to do was go away to college. I want her here with me, but I want her to be successful even more than I want her. And so one of the things that I thought was, dang, I'm losing my daughter. But what I didn't realize was I was gaining a woman, a grown ass woman, a friend. And so our relationship had transitioned from mother-daughter to like woman to woman, still mama, still like, I ain't one of your friends. However, she is my friend, but not like that. Like, I ain't one of your little friends. We still have that relationship. But, parenthood never stops. It only evolves. And, you can do the best that you can do as a parent. How your children turn out, you don't know. And so it's just a reminder that you got to stay on your knees. You got to stay humble, because you can't never say what my kids ain't going to do. Don't ever say what my kids ain't going to do, because you don't know. just do the best that you can, and then let the chips fall where they may. The Bible says that raise up a child in the way that raise up a child in the way that he should go, and when he gets old, he won't depart from it. So if Kirk truly raised him in that way, he'll come back. He'll come back around. Just keep parents in prayer. And anytime you think about me, Constance Carter, anytime you think about me, say a prayer for me, because that's the best thing in the world that you could do for me is say a prayer for me. And I'll do the same thing for you.
Well, you better get the praying for me right now.
Absolutely. And I love it when you pray for me, Robert. So I appreciate you being a good friend and praying for me like the way you do. I do appreciate that.
Absolutely. So the one thing that I would say to all the parents out there, never give up on your seeds. They are creation. They were fearfully and wonderfully made. They belong to you as much as they think that they got it all figured out. I think that if you have the opportunity to make anything right that you did in your parental life, or as you have an opportunity to kind of talk about things, I think the communication is really important. I know we invest a lot of time in communicating with our spouses and significant others. I think that we should be intentional about the memories that we create with our children. I know in my lifetime, I've taken my kids, on an all expense paid trip to Cancun, and I thought that was everything. But as it turns out, a trip to Ocean City, which is like maybe 2-hour drive from here, and I spent less than $100. They remember those things more than they remember, an experience in Cancun, which an adult will probably appreciate. So what I would say is never, ever give up on your kids. Always be intentional about your communication and the creation of memories, because the time that you lose being mad at them, you can never get back. And just know that when they leave the house, they may not listen to everything that you say, but they will remember everything that you did. I'm going to say that again. Your children may not remember everything that you said, but they will remember everything that you did and didn't do. And that, parents, you will carry around with you for a lifetime. And to all the babies who are watching, just understand that you only get one mama. You only get one dad.
Yeah.
Don't matter which one you love the most, which one you listen to the most, but I would encourage you to honor them because that's a special gift to be a parent. It's an even more special gift to have a family unit. And outside of your friends and the people that you call your fam, you will only get one blood mama and one blood daddy. And you should always honor that, respect that, and cherish that, because when they're gone, you'll never be able to replace them.
Hello. Hey, can we listen to Kirk's apology? Which I don't really think he will apologize, but you want to show the people? All right, let's do it.
Many of you know I have an older son named Kerryon Franklin. In May, he'll be 33. For many years, we have had a toxic relationship with him as a family. We've tried for many years through counseling, through therapy, to try to rectify this private family matter. Recently, my son and I had an argument that he chose to record. I felt extremely disrespected in that conversation, and I lost my temper. And I said words that are not appropriate. And I'm sincerely sorry to all of you. I sincerely apologize. I want you to know as a father that during that conversation, I called the family therapist, got that therapist on the phone to try to help. He never played that part of the recording. I'm not perfect. I'm human and I'm going to make mistakes and I'm trying to get it right. Please keep me and my family in your prayers.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Like I said, he addressed the matter that happened, said, I'm not perfect. And, that's all you can ask for a human to do. Acknowledge the error of their way, acknowledge their humanness, and try to build on whatever semblance of what's left. Because there may be no coming back from that. I mean, when you publicly disrespect me and put our stuff on blast, it's hard to come back from that, And I just pray for the Franklin family and for everybody who's listening to us right now, Constance, because we've all been through something, whether it's with our children or our significant other or our friends, but family specifically is what we're talking about.
Yeah. Just pray for folks. That's it. You know, I know one thing that a rule that I live by is if I ain't trying to get involved if I ain't willing to help in some way. And the best way that I know how to help somebody is pray for them. So I say definitely that. And so again, like I said, if a thought of Constance Carter rolls your mind, say a prayer for your girl. And pray for people who are going through turmoil. Because guess what? God is going to bless you for it. So anyway, I'm with Ariane. Ariane said we stand with Kirk. I stand with Kirk. I know you stand with Kirk, and there is no perfect person. Everybody makes mistakes. And the moment that we think that we are perfect is the moment that we are living in a total lie. And, God ain't gonna honor that. So, and how blessed is he to have a son, his son, and have a father, just like Leigh Morris said, if this was 50 years ago, Kirk would have rolled up on him with a shotgun. Listen, Marvin Gaye's daddy said, I brought you in this world and I'll take you out, and actually took him out and didn't go to jail for it. So, we have to, everything in perspective. I would never curse my kids out like that. I don't know. I don't think I will. I have not to date, but I don't got a 32-year-old estranged child either. So you never know what could happen. So you never say what you ain't never going to do, and don't ever say what your kids ain't going to do, period.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Constance, I certainly enjoy having this opportunity to talk to you in a minute.
Oh,
sure.
Brother.
I'll hook up with you at some place sometime in the very near future on some other broadcast.
Yes.
But until then, sis, I appreciate you for your honesty, for your integrity, and I will certainly lift you in prayer as always.
Thank you. I appreciate you. I love you, and I appreciate you.
I love you back, sis.
All right. Have a good one.